Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to start off by giving all praises to the Heavenly Father in the Lashwan Kodash, the Holy Tongue, which is the Paleo Hebrew. We're going to start off by saying Kal, Halayim, La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Rakah, Kodash, Ma, Amath. Definitely want to give double honors to the apostles of GMS and their elders. Definitely want to give honors to my elder, Ahar Wam, Bon Yasha Allah, the Lions Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the elect, which are the sincere Akim and Akwathim that believe in this truth. Shalom. Today's lesson is going to be going into prophecy and how the Lord is raising up Russia to come against the whore and to come against NATO as well. All right. Article here says World War III threat. Putin ally warns UK. United States face nuclear response if NATO intervenes in Ukraine. All right. It says Russia has issued a stark warning to NATO, threatening to unleash a devastating nuclear response against both Britain and the United States if Western troops are deployed in Ukraine, according to a new report. Right. So it says against Britain and against Britain and the United States. Right. Let's grab something real quick. This is Jeremiah 50:1, and it reads, "The word that Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet," right? And today, America, which is known as the daughter of Babylon, or also known as the whore that's riding upon the scarlet-colored beast in Revelations, also known as Nineveh, also spiritually known as Egypt, right? So this place has to be destroyed. And other places as well as Israel, the land of Israel will be destroyed. And other places like NATO countries, parts of BRIC countries, all are going to be hit with nuclear destruction. But these other places won't be completely desolate as America and as Israel will be, the land, right? So it said, verse 2, "Declare ye among the nations, and publish and set upon up a standard, publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken, Baal is confounded," right, which goes into their idolatry. Right. It says Murdoch is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. Right. Going into that idolatry, how the Lord is going to tear down these other nations and their false idols. "For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her." Right. So out of the north there comes a nation against America and against the land of Israel. It says, "Cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast," right? Because they're gonna have no choice due to the nuclear destruction that's coming to this place, right? Nothing is going to be able to survive here besides like the swamp creatures, basically, right? Things that can pretty much survive in harsh conditions, right? Especially like nuclear waste, right? We do have animals that can survive in these types of conditions. Right? It says, "In those days and in that time, saith the Lord Yahweh, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together," right? The northern and southern kingdom, right? And as the Lord has brought us back together here in America, He has brought the northern and southern kingdom back together as it was prophesied. Right? It says, "Going and weeping, they shall go and seek the Lord Yahweh their power. They shall ask the way up to Zion with their face thitherward," right? Saying, "Come and let us join ourselves to the Lord Yahweh in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten." And that's being done as we speak. The northern and southern kingdom coming together, seeking their power, their God, which is Yahweh Himself, right? Through the only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, Right? It's the only way to be able to seek him is going through his only begotten son, whose name is Yahushua, not Jebus, not not Jesus, not Zeus, none of that. Is Yahushua. Right. So verse 6, my people have been lost sheep, right? And we have been lost sheep, going through all these different captivities, from Assyria all the way down to the Atlantic slave trade, right? And have Britain and the African tribes that hated the Israelites who come from Shem, right? How the African Hamite tribes came against us, how um Esau Edom has come against us, how the Arabs have come against us, all of them working together, right? The Hamites, the Ishmaelites, and the Edomites all working together to put us in slavery during the Atlantic slave trade, right? All of them will have to pay for that, for putting their hands on the Lord's on the apple of the Lord's eye, which are the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the speckled bird, which are Israelites that are spread abroad, right? But are Israelites through the blood, right? It says, "My people have been lost sheep," and that's why we was lost, right? Going through all those different captivities, because the world hates us, right? But we are not part of the world. We are, in the spirit, you know, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, we are living in the spirit, should I say, right? We are not a part of this world, right? That's why the world hates us, just as the scriptures say, um, as Yahweh Shai said, just know the world hated him first, right? Roughly paraphrasing, right? Well, but we have been brought down as a people, being completely destroyed. Our heritage has been taken away. Our land has been taken away. Our remembrance of who we are has been taken away. Our power has been taken away as far as like who we worship, right? The true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, right? All of this has been taken away from us. How we worship, us celebrating the Passover, all of this stuff was taken from us during these captivities, right? So now the Lord, if you go into Baruch, the Lord is waking us up in the lands of our captivities, because our time, our punishment is pretty much over, right? It's time for the downfall of Esau's system, right? So we are now coming up out of this right now. That's why the Lord has brought us together, and He is waking us up to this truth, right? Because we have been lost sheep. It says their shepherds have caused them to go astray, right? Our shepherds, right, which are these false pastors, right? Make a quick example, TD Jakes, right? But you see what happened to TD Jakes now. When you are a false prophet, the Lord will expose you. He's always going to expose you, right? And you look at TD Jakes now, shit has hit the fan for him, right? All that Diddy stuff, allegedly, and all this, he has lost his congregation to the point where he had to resign, right? Because the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, is not going to allow this foolishness to keep on, to keep raving havoc on his people, on the lost sheep. Right? It says, their shepherds have caused them to go astray, right? TD Jakes, Cleflo Steal Your Dollar, right? Bishop Nate the Snake. You can keep going on and on. Joel Osteen, right? As long as I've been in this truth, there are true prophets out there, but the main ones that I follow is GMS, Apostle Tahar and GMS, right? And my elder right here, the Lions Den Camp, right? As far as I can tell, we're pretty much the only ones that's pushing this truth, right? The only ones truly talking about the Mach B is being a micro CHIP that they're going to insert into us, and without that, they're not going to insert it to us, but they're going to try to mandate that to be inserted into the people across the world, and without that, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. You won't even be able to maintain in society, right? To go to grocery shopping, etc., etc., to get you some water, get you some food, feed your kids, whatever the case may be. But the men of the Lord know we're going to be depending on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that day, right? During the times of Jacob's trouble, during the times of the Mach B, right? So it says they have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting places, right? We have forgotten our resting place due to these devils, man, and including 2/3 of our people, right? The false prophets, the ones that the Lord didn't ordain to, didn't put the words in their mouth to go out and to prophesy or teach the people, right? Them spilling out their own vain philosophies or the other vain philosophies of men that came from Esau, Edom, or the Vatican, right? These Christian churches and the Catholic churches, right? It says, verse 7, all that found them have devoured them, right? They devoured us, man. Every captivity we went into, man, we was devoured, right? Being completely brought low, becoming that base man again, right? Being our powers being taken from us for our iniquities, right? And the Lord put us on punishment by putting us through captivities. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord Yahweh, the inhabitants of just, even the Lord Yahweh, the hope of their fathers, right? So we messed up. So the Lord put it into their hearts, right, to come against us, man, and to put us in captivity. Verse 8, remove out of the midst of Babylon, which is today America, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, which is the land of the Edomites, today, right, which is America, because who owns America? The Edomites. All right, it says, and be as Salaki, and be as the he goats before the flocks, right? Like being in charge, right? Being lifted up and being in charge, basically. And when it says remove thyself out of the midst of Babylon, it's saying spiritually, right? Because World War III, that's exactly what it means. World War III. There's nowhere you can go. You're gonna see destruction. And if one thing about it, two things for sure, you can't get away from the judgment of the Lord. No matter where you go, you can even try to leave the planet. You ain't gonna get away from His judgment. So it says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon and an assembly of great nations from the north country," right? So that's what I wanted to get into. Now we're going to continue this chapter, but let me go back to the article, right? So I'm at verse 9. I'll write that down so I don't lose my spot. All right. But for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, right? America, an assembly of great nations from the north country, right? Going into the BRICS nation, Russia being that head of that BRICS nation, right? And matter of fact, before we go back to that, let's just jump to Ezekiel 38 real quick, just to show you how the Lord is bringing up the land of Russia, right? This Ezekiel 38. Oh my goodness, my phone be Ezekiel 38. All right, and 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog. Right, so Gog is the land of Magog. Magog is one of Japhet's sons. That because the Japhet was in that area in the ancient days, and in today's time, Russia is in control of Gog, the land, right, of Russia, basically, right. So that's why it says, "Set thy face against Gog, which is the land of Magog." Right. So it's the Russians today, the land of Russia today. The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Right. And when you go into that, in today's time, Meshach and Tubal is located in Turkey. Right. So it's called Turkey today. But when you go into a little bit more research on Turkey, because Turkey is a part of NATO, but Turkey is the only country that's not on an unfriendly list of Russia. So Russia considers Turkey, even though it's part of NATO, as a friendly country, a friend indeed. So, a lot of prophecy can fall behind that if Turkey ends up leaving NATO, which I think is going to happen sooner than later, right? Because of the economy and stuff like that. Because Turkey has been the mediator between Ukraine and Russia, trying to get both sides to calm down. But Russia and Turkey do have a lot of economics going on between each other, a lot of trading and stuff like that as well, even though they are a part of NATO. But anyway, verse 3, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back. And this is the point. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, right? And what do you do to an animal when you're trying to control them? What do you do to horses? They put those little things in the back of their jaws so they can control them. I want to go left. I want to go right. I want to speed up, right? So that's what happens when you put those type of things into animals, right? You're able to control the head, especially if you're riding that animal, you're able to control that animal to where you want to go, just like the Lord is doing to the land of Russia, right? It says, and I will put the hooks and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, right? He's bringing Russia forth, and all thy army, right? And what is all thy armies? The BRICS nations, China, Brazil, right? Iran, right? So on and so on, South Africa, and other nations that's planning on joining BRICS, Ethiopia, Egypt, I believe they are already part of BRICS as well, right? All these places that already surround the land of Israel, right? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is raising Russia up to be the head of the BRICS nation, to bring up all Ethiopia, Egypt, Iran, China, etc., bring them all up to be able to turn against the whore, America, and turn against Israel. It says, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, right? And Ethiopia and Persia, which is Iran today, are already part of the BRICS. And Libya, which is I have to go into that a little bit, but I believe Libya is like right outside of Egypt. All of that was considered Libya at one point, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. So, like, right, all of them with shields and helmets, right? So that was the point, just showing you how the Lord is raising up Russia and the BRICS nation to come against this place, man, this whole America, right? So as the article said, Russia has issued a stark warning to NATO, right, threatening to unleash a devastating nuclear response against both Britain and United States if Western troops are deployed in Ukraine, according to a new report. All right. It says Dmitry, not even gonna try. Dmitry, a prominent figure in Russian media and a close ally to President Vladimir Putin, delivered the ominous message. Right, Dmitry, known for his role as a TV presenter and his leadership with Russia's media landscape, emphasized the dire consequences of NATO intervention in Ukraine. He cautioned that any attempt by the West to achieve a strategic victory over Russia would trigger catastrophic retaliation, including the development of advanced nuclear weapons such as the Satan II missile, the Mirror reported. While French President Emmanuel Macron has suggested that sending troops into Ukraine should not be dismissed, other NATO leaders have shown restraint. Right? Dmitry's warning serves as a reminder of the high stakes involved in the conflict and the potential for escalation to a global catastrophe. The Satan II missile, also known as Sarmat, represents a formidable nuclear arsenal in Russia's possession. With its unparalleled speed and destructive power, it poses a grave threat to enemy targets, according to Putin's claim. Additionally, the Avangard hypersonic missile system, right, and we're going to go into that, capable of striking at speeds 27 times the speed of sound, further enhances Russia's offensive capabilities. It says Dmitri's statements also highlighted the underwater drone Poseidon, which he suggested could be used to which he suggested could be used to inundate Britain with a devastating tsunami carrying radioactive fallout. His remarks underscore the severity of the consequences that could result from any escalation of tension between Russia and the West. All right, so I want to pull up some information on that Poseidon. Um, I grab it again real quick. It says Dimitri's statement also highlighted the underwater drone Poseidon, right? So up here it was talking about the capabilities, right? It says which he suggested could be used to inundate Britain with a devastating tsunami carrying radioactive fallout. So that devastating tsunami, man, that can completely destroy Britain for the most part, right? By one torpedo from one of Russia's submarines, right? But it's so powerful that it's allegedly able to create 1,000-foot high tsunamis, right? So this is all part of the Lord's armory, and we're gonna grab that. But it says, can Russia really wipe out Britain with a 1,000-foot high tsunami? Experts say Putin's Poseidon nuke could destroy a coastal city, cause radioactive floods, and kill millions in London. Right. So this is what it looks like. They was showing you a small example of what would happen on how they would create the tsunami by striking outside of the coast and creating big, massive radioactive waves. Right. So it says a towering 1,000-foot radioactive tsunami crashes into British shores, delivering Slovakia. A towering 1,000-foot radioactive tsunami crashed into British shores, pulverizing everything in sight and reducing entire cities to desolate wastelands. This is the chilling image conjured by Russia's ranting propagandists as they boast of the devastating power of Putin's most fearsome weapon, an underwater doomsday torpedo named Poseidon. Right? And it's just crazy how Putin um, names his the Lord's armory really after um, false idols. You know, because people pray to Satan, people pray to Poseidon, especially back in the days, right? So these are all false idols, man. Now, Satan it just means adversary, right? But we know that people think that Satan and Lucifer is to be praised, and that these are deities and all this stuff, man. But you know, all that's vanity and wickedness, man. So, but it's just crazy how the Lord put that in Putin's mind. Right? It says since Putin invaded Ukraine, his propagandist has continued to threaten the UK with a nuclear holocaust, and the rhetoric has continued to escalate in recent months. Just yesterday, retired Russian General Yevgeny Buzhensky. They got some crazy names, man. But anyway, the general urged Putin to launch Poseidon, still said to be in testing that he said would destroy Britain. And now international military experts have warned that Putin's underwater torpedo could indeed destroy the UK's coastal cities, cause radioactive floods, and kill millions of people in London. While the experts deny Russia's claim that Poseidon would result in such monstrously high 1,000-foot waves around the height of the Eiffel Tower, or that it would destroy the entire country, they say that the effects of such a nuclear strike would still be devastating. If Russia launched the Poseidon from its doomsday submarine and the torpedo exploded in the Thymus Estuary, for instance, a tidal wave would erupt from the water's surface and destroy London. the academics say, right? So showing you again what it would look like. All right. So Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is raising up Russia, man. The Lord has given them, has opened up his armory for them to be able to use against NATO, the EU, and America, man. Right? To come against these places, because World War III. So it's gonna be all hell breaking loose, man. And when that happens, Jacob's trouble is gonna kick in, right? But at the end of the day, all this is from the Lord. All this comes from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It's been prophesied for all this stuff to happen, right? But the Lord had to chasten us, man, to correct us, to bring us back into, remembrance, to, allow us to be able to worship him in sincerity and the truth, so we can be presented as those virgins. All right, so this is Jeremiah 50 and 25. The Lord Yahweh hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? God of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. All right, so the Lord is opening up his armory, man, to bring judgment to these places, man. All right. So before we go any further, let's jump to Revelations real quick. Revelation 20. Because the whole point of this video is to show the prophecies of the Lord being brought forth, right? Everything being prepared for that day. The Lord raising up Russia and the BRICS nations, opening up his armory for them to come against the whore and NATO, right? And then a lot of NATO is going to end up turning against the whore as well, right? Because that just shows you the power of the BRICS nation, the power of Russia to be able to basically be the new hammer of the earth, right? To where all other countries will end up turning against NATO, or leaving NATO, turning against America, and bending the bow against her, right? Revelations 20 and 8, and it reads, and shall go out to deceive. So like I start off at 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, right? So that's the time we were just going through, and shall go out to deceive the nations, right? So he has deceived the nations. He has all had the right, Esau, Edom, right? This revised Roman Empire has deceived all the nations by, making them drink from that golden cup, right? And America being that whore. It says, and shall go. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. And that's what's been happening, right, for the last 1,000 years. It says Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, and that's what the Lord is doing, right? Gathering the Russians, right, that's in the land of Gog, right, which would be the land of Russia today, right? He's gathering them together to battle, right? To bring them up to battle. He's just like we was reading in Ezekiel 38, right? He's gathering them, he's bringing them up, he's gathering them to come against this whore. It says, all right, so let's go to back to Ezekiel 38 real quick. This is Ezekiel 38. All right, and 7. All right, and it reads, be thou prepared. Now this is Gog and Magog, right? This is Gog, the land of Magog, right? The Lord is raising Russia up. It says, be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And that's what is happening, right? Russia is being that guard unto them, right? Being that head um, of that new hammer, right? Being that new hammer of the earth, right? Which is still Esau, Edom, right? Russia be the Temanites. So let's go back to Jeremiah 50, and we left off at 9, and it reads, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From this she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain." So when Putin and them start shooting them ICBMs off, right? None of them are going to return in vain. All of them will hit their mark, man, right? Because thus saith the Lord. Right, it says, "And the Chaldean shall be a spoil at that. Spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord Yahweh, because ye were glad, because ye rejoice, O ye destroyers of my heritage, of my heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellows as bulls." Right. So just as they was thinking they have become top dogs, and they have end up coming against us as well over here in America, right? Coming against the children of Israel, right? Coming against the Lord's people, all right? As soon as they think that they pretty much have taken everything, and they have, they're pretty much in complete power or rulership over the earth, the Lord is going to trot them down as well. He's going to tell Russia they got a prophecy as well, right? To what the Lord will bring them low, right, and have them pretty much killed off, not completely, but have them a judgment for them as well. It says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded, she that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert." Right. So this is going into talking about America, right? So America, as the Lord, as we was reading up, in verse 9, it's talking about against Babylon, right? I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations, right? Which is the BRICS nation, right? He's raising them up to come against Babylon, right? And it says, verse 11, "Because ye were glad," I'm still like verse 12, "your mother shall be sore confounded," right? And that mother going into the Roman Empire, right? That going into that dragon, right? Or it's like going into that beast, right? Which gave power unto the dragon, right? They will be ashamed, right? Because they the ones who, uh, you know, who raised up America, right? NATO and the EU raised up America to be that great, great army for them, right? Britain had the money, right? America is the military force, right? So that mother shall be sore confounded, meaning that you can pretty much say Britain if you want to, right? Or the EU, NATO and the EU, the UK, right? It says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the Lord, because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited," man. So this place is not going to be inhabited, right? So think about it like this. If they hit Florida with a Poseidon missile, a torpedo, right? That'll be very devastating to Florida because it's a peninsula, right? So if they was to create tsunamis here, and then we're pretty much sea level, right, here in Florida. So if that hits, and even if we had 20-foot waves, right, that'll do some major destruction to the state of Florida as a whole. Um, So it's prophesied that this place that the Lord has opened up his armory for the BRICS nation to come against this place, man. Right? So this place will not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues, man. Right? So when they on the boats and the ships, and they traveling passing by this place, they're gonna hiss at her at all her plagues and see the smoke, right, just continuously burning, right, the fire continuously burning, the smoke continuously going up. It says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. And that's prophecy, man. That's what's finna happen to this place, right? As the Lord continues to raise up Russia and the BRICS nations to set themselves in array against this place, to bend the bow, right? To shoot them ICBMs, Satan 2 missiles, Satan 1 missiles, shoot off the Poseidon's missiles, as well as all of the other ICBM missiles that all these other countries have, like China, North Korea, etc., Iran. Right? It says, for she, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows. Right? So spare no arrows. That's why the scriptures say this place is going to get hit with 200 million missiles, or i.e. warheads, 200 million warheads. Right? It says, right, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord Yahweh. Right? And how did she sin against the Lord? By the Atlantic slave trade, by covering up the faces of the judges, by inflicting the Israelites, by putting their hands on the Lord's on the apple of the Lord's eye, right? Just look throughout history, all the stuff that they have done, all the genocide, all of the sexual art, grapes and stuff like that. Them taking our children, feeding our children to alligators, making shoes out of our skin. Etc., etc. Us inventing things and they putting their faces and names on the inventions, and receiving all the benefits and all the money from those inventions. Right? You can go on and on and on for the things that they have done to us. Right? But when you look around, they want to point fingers at us like we the bad ones. Right? But clearly, y'all are the reason why we're in this state. Right? Ultimately, Most High is the reason why we're in this state, and for our iniquities. Right? But Esau, y'all just took it a little too far. Right? Some things y'all didn't have to do. And just leave it at that. It says, shout. Yeah, it says, verse 15, shout against her round about. She have given her hand. Right? She has given her hand, man. Right? She's being revealed in this day. Right? Her foundations are falling. Her walls are thrown down. This is the city of unwalled villages, man. Right? America. Right? It says her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her as she have done, do unto her. Right? So it's not our vengeance, right? It's the Lord's vengeance. Right? And and that's why the Lord said we're gonna do unto her double, because it's his vengeance. Cut off the sword from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his land. Right? In the NLT, it says, take from Babylon all those who plant crops. Send all the harvesters away because of the sword of the enemy. Everyone will run away and rush back to their own lands. And with us, we're not going to have to, right? Because in that day we'll be delivered, right? Taken into another wilderness, right, to be a part of the ceremony, and then we'll be back into the land, right? It says Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria, going into the captivities that we had to go through, have devoured him, Salakia. And last, the Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, have broken his bones. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, right? Our power. Behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land, right? So this land is going to be punished, man, right? And whoever was president at during that time, right? It says, as I have punished the king of Assyria, and I will bring Israel again to his habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord Yahweh, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there, right, here's the point, there shall be none, right, being presented as those virgins, man, right, to where we'll be found with not no guile in our mouth, to be made perfect. And once we'll be made perfect, right, and sinless, right, we will be in complete righteousness, um, in our everlasting bodies in the kingdom. It says the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none, and the sins of Judah, and they shall not be found. Right. So the northern and southern kingdom, right, we will be forgiven for all our iniquities. For I will pardon them whom I reserve. All right. So Yahweh Ratazah Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, this lesson was edifying. Shalom. Also, as well, just stay diligent in this truth. Keep your eyes and ears open, and look for the prophecies to come to pass. Continue to do the work, right? Because Jacob's trouble is being manifested. It might be it's being manifested, um, and the day of our deliverance is being manifested, which it has. It was already being manifested during when Yahweh Shai died on the cross for us, for the elect, right, to cover the sins of the elect. All right, so Shalom, DTA.